Welcome, everybody. I'm here with the gang, Alex Tavella, the GOAT, and our guest of honor himself, Steve Saka. We just want to let everybody know before
Bam.
we start hitting refresh 1,000 times.
Stop refreshing. Yes. Good call.
It's not going to go live. We're going to give everybody time to make sure they know how to access the store. There were some issues during our first event, so it's going to go live shortly into the broadcast, but we're going to make sure that everybody has time to figure out to make sure that they're in the store and ready to go. And also, let me just say that this broadcast has been sponsored by and brought to you by Ezra Brooks Bourbon. Honestly, good bourbon. Born in Kentucky, bourbon country, but at home anywhere. Ezra Brooks exists for those who appreciate quality at a fair price. Still aged in charred American white oak barrels and bottled the old-fashioned way, Ezra Brooks is as honest as they come. Whether you're looking for a confidant, a wingman, or the life of the party, Ezra Brooks is unabashedly unaltered, genuine and transparent, and smooth enough for every situation. Cheers.
That was pretty good, Abe.
Thank you very much. So, Steve, what are you imbibing? Would it have to be Ezra Brooks bourbon, would it?
It's absolutely Ezra Brooks. I know how this gig works. My first time at the rodeo.
That's a very interesting sweater you got on there. What's all that stuff that's on there?
It's my attempt to be urban in New Hampshire.
Did that come that way, or did these?
No. You pay for it to look like. It's supposed to look like something that somebody would do on their own, but I get to pay 4 times more for someone else to do it.
Do it for you.
Pretend,
So, Steve, we're coming on to the end of 2021. This is probably one of your last. I'm going to venture.
Hallelujah.
The last limited release of 2021. And I saw a post earlier.
Wait, I still have 2 more days, right? I can squeeze another one in.
If anybody can, you can.
Real quick.
Yes.
I got to answer. Gonna answer our brother, or you can answer. Dos.
2 per person. 2 per person per ticket holder account. So yeah. I know somebody asked me out there today. He says he bought a VIP ticket and his wife bought a VIP ticket. Could they each get 2? And I said that's 100% ethical. You each bought a ticket. You each have 2 available. So go for it and get them. So they're. I haven't had a chance to smoke one. I've been.
I was gonna say, what if it sucks?
I dug in the stash.
What was that, Steve?
So what if it sucks and you're encouraging people to buy 4?
Well, listen.
Well, we knew this conversation. It's good to get this conversation out of the way now because we knew it was going to.
We always have this conversation.
Yeah, so let's go ahead.
I don't know, Steve, because I want you to tell us a little bit about this wrapper, because I'm going to tell you something. You very seldom will talk your cigars up.
Yeah.
When you're telling me about this wrapper, you really.
It's because I'm not pimping this cigar.
I know.
Pimping the cigar that I'm going to do 2 years from now. That's the cigar I'm pimping. It's it's really hard to look. What can I say and not get in trouble?
Yeah, because you really said you really can't talk about it.
Yeah, I promised. And any detail I share is going to give it away to anybody that knows. Not anybody that knows, like out in the audience here, probably. But if I just say something like so and so hired such and such, or brought somebody from somewhere to here, or something like that, it's going to end up getting me in trouble. But basically, it's a totally new wrapper variety. It's grown from 2 distinctly different seeds that have not been married together in Nicaragua before. And it's the very first hybridization. And see, the way hybridizations work when you do seeds, you typically are trying to take the properties of 2 individual elements and somehow combine the strengths while working out the weaknesses, right? And the way you end up doing that is you take the item that is the strongest, you make up one pairing, a single pairing to begin with. And that very first one is called the first son. It's the first hybrid, the first child of those 2 parent plants. But then what you do is you then see, okay, you plant that seedling, that son, you see what happens to it. You go, okay, I really need more of this parent in that than that parent. So then you crossbreed it again with the original parent seed, but you don't bring the other seed into it. You're using the one that you grew, and that becomes the second son. And the way hybridizations typically work is they typically go through about 10 levels of this seeding till it gets to the point that it becomes its own it takes the properties of what they wanted to balance out. So I have a personal friend who's an agronomist and a farmer, and he's been working on doing these seeds. And I was really impressed with the first son. I was like so happy with it that I didn't want the second son, the third son, the fourth son, the fifth son.
Wow.
Because what they're breeding for is obviously for weight and sustainability and yield and index and all these things that, you know, farmers really care about because that's how they make their money. So I was really happy with the flavor of this very first crossing. And I said, hey, can we just keep this first crossing and can we start growing that just for me? You continue doing what you're doing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18 hybridizations down the road to get it the way you want it. But I'd like to just stop at number 1 and just keep that an intact seed where it's literally 50% of the mother plant and 50% of the father plant. And we did this very first seed crossing happened in when? Let me think about this. We're in 2021. So it was roughly like 2018 is where we were. And so we ended up doing a small little pilot crop of it. And that's what this tobacco is that's on this cigar. But this tobacco, and honestly, and that's one of the reasons why I describe it as a little ruddy. It's not so attractive because I haven't even gotten to the aesthetics part of it yet. You know, I'm just kind of working on the basic. And we got a lot of more experience to go through to properly learn how to cure it and to properly learn how to bulk it. So I think that I will be able to actually make it prettier, but right now I can't.
I was going to ask, can you actually change aesthetics of a leaf?
Oh, absolutely. And the curing, how you cure, and even more so how you ferment, you can have a tremendous impact on the aesthetics. And when we were doing the original fermentation on this, we didn't even have enough of it to build its own bulk because you need a certain amount of weight depending on the variety. A typical Cuban seed wrapper, you would need somewhere between like 3,000 to 3,400 pounds. A broadleaf wrapper, you would need probably like 4,800 to like 5,400 pounds. And so if you don't have, let's say it's a Cuban seed wrapper, if I don't have at least 3,000, 3,200 pounds, and not just of one tobacco, but the texture that I need to put in that polone. So in order to have that, I probably need about 12,000 pounds in order to be able to make those separately textured bulks. And really probably even closer to 18 if I want to do it 100% right. But I didn't have that because this is from tobacco from a pilot crop. So what ended up happening with this tobacco is it got mixed into other working polones so it could ferment along with them. So I was just curious to see, how does it taste? What's the elasticity on it? And how does it burn? Can we get the combustion right? Now, the pilot crop was then. This is from the test crop, blah, 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 2018, 2019. So this is a 2019 test crop. And then right now in the seed is the crop for, man, I'm getting my dates confused. I'll go back on that. I got to look that up because I seem like I'm a year off. 2019, 2020, 21. Yes. So 21 right now, the seed trays are being done for the first real harvest of this tobacco. Or the growing of this tobacco. Let's see if it gets harvested. And then hopefully this will be a wrapper that I use for a really grossly overpriced cigar in 2024, most likely.
Well, that's a treat. Alex, I think you should stop what you're doing right now and see from Marshall Scott Henry why the site isn't taking, because now would be a perfect time to handle a customer service call during our broadcast. Scott, we have no idea right now.
I'm going to guess that you're probably putting it in the wrong place. It doesn't go in the promo code place. It goes on the next page when you're checking out, where you can choose credit card, gift certificate. So you're probably putting it in the wrong place.
There you go. Way
That's
to be helpful. Just asking customer service call any questions for broadcast.
That's why I'm here. It's the only reason I'm here is for.
Not the worst thing that happened to me in a broadcast. Did I ever tell you the horror story?
Which one? I'm sure you have a few of them.
I was in a podcast like this, and I was doing something, and someone private chatted me that my brother died.
No.
That's how I learned my brother died, was through a private chat message in a Zoom thingy like this. How crazy whacked is that?
Wow. Okay. That beats this. Holy cow. How did they know your brother died?
Well,
Was it somebody from the
yeah,
family?
my brother and I, we've been estranged for a very long time, and the whole family. And this was someone that was aware of who I was and knew he was my brother. And this is how they decided to contact me, was during his life. Yeah, it was pretty stunning. It was pretty stunning and shocking.
I've had weird things happen during events and functions. In fact, I saw Pete Johnson's watching this broadcast. He got served during doing an event in the middle of our store. Well, because they knew he'd be there.
You would be there, right?
He'd be there, so they came and they served him, like at my event. And I was like, "Wow, that was terrible." Actually, it was really bad. So yeah, weird stuff happens.
It's better than being hauled away in handcuffs, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
it ended up being no big deal. They worked out whatever the issue was. It's just sad that it happened during an event. I mean, you talk about bringing down an event real fast. That was a mood killer right there. So everybody, we set Alex. Alex?
Yeah, we're set.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Fire away.
Product is live for sale. The Kraken has been released. Gentlemen, buy away. Comments should stop pretty quick at this point as they run to scurry to get the product. So
No, comments will start when they don't figure out to do
yeah, right.
what they're doing. But that's all right. That's what I'm here for. So, Steve, just to clarify, I got a question. So not only are we getting this exclusive event cigar, but this is literally the first time ever, as far as we know, that this wrapper has ever been created. Like, it does not exist.
No, it exists now for it to be on the cigar, but no, it hasn't existed before. These cigars weren't actually originally intended for you guys. I originally had another blend that was for the Great Smoke, but once it had aged and coming out of the cool room, I was really dissatisfied with it. It just was kind of, I thought it was meh. That was boring. I just didn't think there was a reason why a consumer should go out of their way to buy it. So that kind of left me a little scrambling. And we had done a lot of bench samples with this particular one in this size because we were just trying to make sure how the tobacco was going to do over time. I mean, I still have a few hundred more that I didn't give you guys because I just need them for my own purposes. But I mean, and look, it's different. It's unique. It's hard to describe because it's really, I'd say it's medium body. It isn't a super spicy wrapper.
Definitely medium body.
But it's really got this wrapper gives you a really super kind of fatty lushness. You can feel the texture of the smoke. It's got that kind of that almost that creamy, when you chew on a cigar smoke, sometimes it's thin and wispy and sometimes it's really heavy and dense. And I find this one to give you that really nice, thick, dense cloud of smoke that's just so satisfying to feel swirl around and to kind of chew on. And it's one of the things that I think makes this wrapper a real winner.
Well, honestly, I can't wait to try it. I've been stuck at home. COVID struck our house, so Brandy got it. One of my kids got it. Got it. Knock on wood, no one's been hit real bad. I pretty much just go from extreme fever and sweats to extreme chills, like every few hours. It's insane. But I'm probably going to be my first cigar I smoke when I get back out of this hole. Being home is really rough.
Have you lost your sense of taste or smell?
No, I didn't get any of that, Steve.
Yeah.
Smell, taste, everything is good. It's just I mean, right now I'm sweating. I'm sweating, buckets right now, and then a couple hours later I'll be freezing like I'm in Siberia. It's crazy. That's pretty much it. But knock on wood, no one's phased really bad. The baby girl got it, and Brandy got it, and then I ended up getting it last. I think we got the other two girls living upstairs. They can't come downstairs really for anything, so trying to keep it all separated.
And yet you're here.
What else can we do? Show must go on, man.
We can bring Pete in. You can just go to the bench.
Who's P?
I thought you said Pete Johnson was watching this.
Oh yeah, I don't know. He's still on.
Quick for you guys. The quantity number won't change when you go and try to change the quantity. That's why you're looking and thinking you can only buy one. just hit the green add more button, and it'll add another one to it. That's how you buy 2. You don't have to change the quantity. Just hit your add to cart and then hit add more, and that'll get you 2. And you can't buy more than 2. If that clarifies.
It's amazing how many people figure that stuff out really quick, and everybody just freaks out. Thanks for all the prayers, but knock on wood, nothing really serious is here. So I appreciate it all, but we're all okay. It could be a lot worse, but we're all okay. So Steve, are you taking a break before hitting the ground running?
No, I'm working every day. I worked Christmas Day. Dude, it's not a question I don't want to take one. I'm just really behind. I'm stupid behind. I'm in the scenario where I need the world to freeze for 4 months right now. Yeah. That's how much time I need to catch back to even is 4 months.
And right now there's I think we talked about it a little bit earlier, but there's a big broadleaf problem now too, yeah?
Yeah, they had a rough crop year. They had hail damage in the valley, which took out a lot of it. And then the problem was it was just too wet at the time of harvest and hang, and the tobacco isn't curing in the barn. No matter how many propane burners they run, they can't dry it out enough, and they're just losing a tremendous amount of the broadleaf that's curing is actually rotting. And as a result of that, a lot of the farmers have chosen not to harvest it and just claim it as a crop failure, because the government will only give you the crop failure insurance for a certain value. And if you pull it out of the ground and you put it in the barn and you go through the work of harvesting it and hanging it and trying to cure it, and it fails, you don't get any extra money for it failing in the barn. So if you're already thinking you're not going to be able to make it to that, you're just going to go ahead and just say, hey, plow it all under. So yeah, 2021 has turned out to be a real bust for broadleaf. Oddly enough, 2020, there was a reasonable amount available in the marketplace. And I know that certain people availed themselves to a good, healthy portion of it. But look, it's always hard to know because I only know what I have in inventory. I don't know what everybody else has in inventory. And but no, and I'm not saying there won't be any tobacco to come out of 2021. There will be. There almost always is, short of a blue mold kind of catastrophe. But how much there's actually going to be, and how much of it is actually going to be the grade that we need for handmade cigars is really a big question. You got to remember, because most broadleaf isn't grown for cigars. Broadleaf is grown for chew and pipe tobacco and snuff and machine maids, and the amount that gets used for premium cigars is really a very small portion of the overall crop.
People don't realize that how much actually gets used. Little gets used for premium cigars.
Yeah. Well, look, if it had to rely on premium cigars, I mean, it's already a cost prohibitive leaf to begin with at this point. But if it was just being grown for cigars, it'd be unattainable. There's no way.
Now, what I like about what you do is you're very proactive in all your projects. I mean, you list them all out for the year, all the various ones. I just imagine doing all these projects that you do on top of current production, it's got to take its toll.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not doing as much in 2022. I can't. I gotta get ahead of. Look, as you well know, we've all seen a bit of a cigar boom. So if your brand has any real viability at all, it should have really grown significantly in the last year and a half. And then on top of that, I also have the growth that I'm just getting because I'm at that phase company-wise, you know what I mean? Where the company's becoming a little better known and the cigars are becoming better known. And as a result, I'm getting more sales. And the two on top of one another just they put me way behind. I mean, I could have sold a lot more cigars in 2021 if I had been prepared. And so I need to get more caught up, because it's nice to have something that's rare, but not if it's so rare that nobody can ever buy it and enjoy it. You know what I mean? And that's not the point of it. The point is to make cigars so people can smoke cigars so that I can make more cigars. And they can smoke more, and you're in the middle to sell those cigars. I mean, that is what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, I've never caught up on Brûlée ever since we launched the brand in 2000 and what was that, 2019? I've never ever fulfilled all the orders on that brand. That's crazy.
So it just goes out as soon as it comes in, all of it.
Yeah, it just look, and it's good. It's a great problem, but also you also don't know how much are you limiting it. You know what I mean? Because you don't really have any idea. I have no idea how much to make. I mean, I keep buying more tobacco and I keep making a boatload more. And every time I do it, I go, man, I'm taking too big a chance. I got to be careful. If I do too much of this, I'm going to find myself with my dick in a vice to find out that I still didn't have enough.
Yeah.
And so you just keep taking these steps. The other thing too is you don't want to grow it so fast that you lose control of the quality or the consistency or the production. But at the same time, I do need to start to figure some of these things out. I got to even keel a little bit. Look, I'm not saying there won't be something in 2022. There always is. But when you really think about it, I mean, Stillwell Star got launched, a month ago? That's really a 2022 brand. Paladins, we're going to start shipping them out of our warehouse on the 3rd. You know what I mean? That's a 2022 brand for most retailers. The new Tricky Traka, the 448, that's also going to be shipping in January. So there's like almost 3 2022 products right off the bat. You know what I mean? And the funny part is we're in such a weird space, so connected to the media that it almost feels like Stillwell is already done. Oh, that's also yesterday. You know what I mean? But it's barely got started. And I think that's the part that I think most consumers are really active in cigar media. Their perspective on things are not the same as the consumer who just comes to the store and buys the cigars and smokes because he wants to relax and enjoy himself and have a way to wind down his day or share some time with friends or family. So I think that, if any place the desire for next is the greatest, it's in the community that really follows cigars closely in social media, because that type of mentality doesn't ultimately work on the shelf. Abe, a brand has to be good and it has to have a certain amount of pull, but it also needs time to percolate before it actually gets an audience of somebody that adds it to the regular rotation and buys it on the
Sure.
repeat. And that takes about 3-4 years. And the problem is most brands don't sell enough in that first couple of years to ever give them a chance to get to that point. And I've been very lucky that all of my brands have made it beyond that 3-year mark. And all my brands are now seeing growth across the board.
A lot of new companies, a lot of old companies struggle with that process. Why do you think you've been so successful at it comparatively to everybody else?
Look, there's no way to talk about it without sounding like an arrogant fuck. But
Well,
look, there's some of us in our industry that are really focused on what's going into the box. And there's some of us that also have a better understanding of branding. And there's some of us that are just better at operating our businesses than others. And it's really kind of a combination of all three of those things. And that's why you see, you got Pete here in the channel. I don't know if he's still here, but I'll blow some smoke up his kazoo. He had a very clear idea of what he wanted to do. He was making cigars that he liked. He liked that spicier style. He liked those heavier cigars. He had a very clear vision of what he wanted his branding style to be and who his product was for. And he worked on it. And he kept putting good products in boxes. And over time, you get a loyal customer following for that. The problem is so many people are just always looking for the quick sale and the quick hit, and they think they're going to get rich. And it's just not that way. I can tell you, look, this was our 6th year in the company. This is the first year that I made actual real money for me. This is the first year that I actually took some money out of the company of significance. 6 years. And look, most people can't do that.
6 years. Some people can't do that in 10 years.
No, but I don't mean that. I can't wait 6 years to start living off.
Well, that's true too.
Because, they go into it really underfunded. And look, they also have a real disadvantage. Cigar geek, tobacco geek, worked at JR under Lou, was there for the boom part of Drew Estate. You know, I just have so much more experience than so many other people that I have a little bit of a leg up. Now, is it an unfair leg up? Hell no. I mean, I started doing this bullshit in the early 90s, you know, but I mean, that definitely makes a difference. I mean, everybody with time and experience hopefully gets better at what they do. You learn by your mistakes along the way, and you learn by the mistakes of others also if you're smart. And look, making a lot of mistakes in the end makes you better. So I've made a lot of mistakes, and it's helping me out at this point.
That's how you learn. You got a question. I love this. What advice would you give to a new brand?
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm actually going to do a podcast for somebody in about a month from now that actually talks about what does it take to start a new company and go into the numbers. I mean, look, it's one of those things that's really rough because, I mean, the easiest thing to say, don't do it. But then it also seems very self-serving for me to say don't do it because you're basically inviting a competitor in. And we've had this conversation in a weird way, Abe. We were talking about the whole Sindicato thing and how everybody in the industry was freaking out about it. And I really wasn't because my attitude was, well, Sindicato's another competitor. How is it any different than you launching a new brand or that product is launching a new brand? You have to compete with everybody, right? And so, I mean, I will say, if you're going to do it, you really need to be able to not take any money out of it for 5 years. You really have to have enough wherewithal and cash to carry you for that long, because when you are feeling the financial pressures, you're going to make decisions that aren't really in the best interest of your brand or your company long term, whether that be doing discounts because you need the cash flow, whether that be, hey, the product's good enough as is because I got to get it gone, I already have orders for it, whether it be, hey, I really can't afford to wait the 4 months for the boxes to be right, I need it slapped in the box, hey, I don't like the price of those bands, I can get these bands for 2 cents less, let me take those bands. So you have to have some financial security in order to be able to really do it. And the other thing that I would say to someone is, I don't think that out of the gate it's a smart thing to do. I think the best thing to do is to go work for another company first. And if you're lucky enough, try to work in a variety of companies in a variety of positions, because you're going to learn about it. Whenever somebody tells me they want to open a cigar store, I always say, well, the first thing you should do is you could go get a job at a cigar store as a clerk for a year and just see what goes on and see how it works. But they don't want to do that, and the problem is you can't short circuit what you get from personal experience.
I tell that to everybody. I tell that to my partner who's in a barbershop. You know, you go find the best barbershop and go work there. Learn the business. I know you know how to cut hair, but there's a business side of it, you know. And I think most of the guys who are getting into the cigar business, whether it's on the retail level or manufacturing, don't understand the numbers. The numbers are not even aware of where the numbers are at, the economics of it, and you know what the point of endurance is before.
It's because the economics of it aren't sexy, where the romance side of it is sexy. But anybody that's really involved in tobacco or factory operations will tell you there's absolutely nothing sexy about it. It's a dirty penny counting business. It's a lot of parts and pieces. Can you romanticize it? Of course you can. Are there parts that are charming? Absolutely. But the bulk of the work is just honest, good, grinded out work is what it is. And I think that, and then look, that isn't a very sexy ad or something for, you know, a guy like me to wax poetic about. So it doesn't help. It's not what the customer wants to hear. I mean, obviously the super uber geek consumer wants to know everything that's under the hood. But the average person, they don't want that. They just want to know that their cigar is the best they can buy and that they really love it.
It's the truth. Alex, you're having a lot of customer service issues. Is that what's going on?
Clearly.
Unbelievable. So, look, if you're just watching this, a couple things to clarify. I'm not sure what exactly is going on. Everybody seems to be able to get the product. There's people who can't. The first thing you do is you have to have a great smoke ticket to be able to purchase this product. So if you don't have that, you won't be able to get it. So that's the first part. If you go to your Smokean account and go to the TGS tab, the Great Smoke tab, you will see there whether you have a ticket or not. It'll be right there, whether it's virtual or whether it's a live ticket. It'll exist under your Great Smoke tab under your account settings. And there will be a link there that says enter the TGS store. Click that link, it'll take you right to the store, and Steve's product will be there. And I believe some of the Aganorsa is still left from the last one.
Which Steve got a box of himself, actually.
Yes,
Paid for a ticket to get a box.
Validation.
I support my man, Terrence. He was first into the breach, right?
He was.
The least I could do is show some support and love.
Well, listen, the last shall be first. He went last year.
Well, you and Terrence were the only two that were from last year.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No. Who else? Who are the other four?
It was only 3 more after you because we were on a time crunch with the way we did it this year. We have Eric Espinosa coming up next week. The next one, which will be January 12th. Then we have Matt Booth, and then we have Henderson Ventura of ADV Cigars.
Yeah, good young man.
Yeah,
I think you'll enjoy talking to him.
Yes. His products have been very strong, doing very well, and we put on we really the blend he put together for the Great Smoke. I think is going to be a sleeper. I think people are going to be very impressed with that project. And there's a cool backstory to it, which I can't wait till when we get to talk about it. But we're not talking about them until we're done with the current ones.
You got to sell the other crap first, is what you're saying.
No, when we're done with your event, we'll talk about Saka. We'll talk about Eric's project. Which, by the way, will that information be up this week, Alex?
What's that?
The Espinosa project.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
Should be. Nothing inspires confidence more than that. Yeah,
well,
I think so.
I haven't been there.
My should be's are pretty good. I feel like
secure the nuclear torpedoes. Yeah, I did. I think I did.
I have a high batting average with should be's. I mean, I'm not batting 1,000, but I have a high batting average.
Listen, in his defense, I've been out. Our head web guy's been out now for 2 weeks. Then
I was out.
One of our secondary guys' computer crashed today. It's been a clusterfuck. So he's on a ship with about 30 holes in it, and he's hanging on. So to his testament, can't wait to have the Gary Burks. Can't wait to have the meat sweats. I got the sweats right now, Gary. I don't got to wait till February.
It's going to be a good event.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this dinner. So while we got everybody on here, so look, you're hosting the TGS dinner. This is your first or second one, Steve?
First.
Okay, so this is your first one. Wow, I can't believe it's your first one. So
me either.
Really, right? So
you make the Red Meat Lover cigar, but don't actually host the Red Meat Lover.
Well, I mean, this is only their what? This is their
third year. This is the third year, I think.
Of the Red Meat Lovers Club dinners.
Yeah, because 1 year was Lido, and I think the other year was Pete, right?
Lido, Pete, and then this is the third year.
Yeah. Then you.
This is the third year. So, so everybody who's coming to that, obviously, they're going to have one hell of a dinner, and you put together a 3-pack that has I believe, a Sin Compromiso and a Sober Mesa. But you also did a special version of the Red Meat Lovers Club blend called the Beef Stick.
I think they're calling it the meat stick.
The meat stick.
You call it. I don't care.
I don't. So this was you and Evan Darnell's project. I wasn't even aware this was going on. So
yeah, I mean, we kind of need to know what we want to call it, don't we? Beef stick or meat stick? Meat stick sounds pornographic, though, doesn't it?
Beef stick?
No, meat stick.
Yeah, meat stick.
Yeah, I thought it was beef stick. Beef stick.
I'm not happy with meat stick either. It just kind of gives me the willies. It's got.
That's funny.
I'm afraid if I Google meat stick, what'll come up, but I know if I Google beef stick, I'm safe.
Now, everybody who comes to the dinner will be getting one of these cigars.
That's correct.
Are you making?
Is that true? I don't even know.
Yes.
Well, then I guess the answer is yes.
Yes, it's part of the 3-pack that everybody at the dinner is getting. Now, are you making extra of these available for sale or no?
Well, let me see. We just went through this, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought
You
it was
did?
possible.
Because I sent you a price increase today.
Yes, so I haven't been in the office, but
Yeah,
did,
but let me find that email because in it had the quantities of the meat sticks. Oh, I'm sorry, the beef sticks. I gotta get this
yes,
right.
beef sticks.
All right, so hold on a second. So let me find that email that I sent Marissa. So there are 300 bundles of the beef sticks being made.
Okay.
So there's 310 count bundles, of which we're obviously going to need what? How many for the dinner? How many people are going to be at the dinner?
About 250.
All right, so we're going to lose 30 bundles there. So I'm going to want to keep 20 bundles probably for myself. So there'll probably be like an extra 250 bundles.
There you go. There you go. So we will have some available the day of the event.
That's all assuming they come in, of course.
Of the meat stick?
The beef stick.
The beef stick.
Yeah, we got to untrain ourselves. I know.
I've been calling it beef stick, so
I like beef stick better.
I like beef stick. I agree. Meat stick is like tube steak. It doesn't really.
Oh boy, now we got cut and circumcised. Okay.
You got to ignore the comments. If I read the comments, they drive me batty.
You're right.
I'd want to respond to everything. I'd be like, "You fuckhead! How dare you?" You know, I just couldn't control myself.
I could totally see why people don't do Facebook Messenger too. Holy cow!
Oh,
The
it's
stuff-
the worst.
The stuff we get through Messenger, it's like seriously unbelievable.
Dinner is not sold out, but there ain't that many left, so you better get them now.
I think this is the highest amount of tickets we've ever sold for the dinner.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look, it makes sense. We go back to my 3 years on the shelf comment, right? It's
Right.
hitting stride. You know, people, because what ends up happening is people have a really good experience at the first one, and then they talk about a good experience they have, and then they tend to bring friends with them, and so it just kind of snowballs. Isn't that how the great smoke gets to be the great smoke?
Yeah, I mean, I was very paranoid the first year we did it because we had always done it at Ruth's Chris, and I think okay, so this is not your first great smoke dinner. I think this is your first great smoke
that is
dinner.
true. I've done one before, I think, but that was when I was at Drew's. That doesn't count.
Yes. So yeah, we used to do it at Ruth's Chris, which was nice and everything, but it was 70 people. That's all we got.
Right.
And me and my staff and my dad and my wife, and I mean, there's like 10 tickets right there, so you got 60 seats I could sell. So it was really very limited. So the first year we did it, I was really nervous for people to have gone from this nice formal, restaurant to this outdoor, like buffet style, and I just didn't know how people would take to it, and they loved it.
The other problem you have is you have the what you would consider maybe a lower class venue for it, but it doesn't cost less because you're still serving the high end meat. If anything, you're actually serving better quality of food.
Well, the difference is it's a lower looking venue, but
Right.
it costs us a lot of money to rent it, where we didn't have to rent anything out to go to Ruth's Chris.
Right. That's true.
But they actually, it looks nice, but the most important part was everybody loved the experience. They loved.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you, Abe. I don't think the venue doesn't make the play. In other words, the event. Look, the venue can be nice, but if everyone's having a good time, everyone's having a good time. And how many times you've been in a parking lot somewhere and had the best time in a damn parking lot, right?
True.
Cooler, some beers, you're shooting the shit, whatever. So that's really. Is it a parking lot? Yeah, it's a dumpy parking lot, but you had a great time. And that's really what counts in the end, is the experience that people have. That means way more than how nice the tables and the walls and the artwork are.
True. Very true. So how's your travel back and forth been to Nika now? Is it more normalized? Are you going down as often as you'd like?
Look, I didn't go down in December because the factories closed. In both cases, they closed right in the beginning of this, right about the middle part of the second week. So I will go down for the first time in January. I pretty much went down every month of last year except for this December and that 1 month right after they put in the travel ban with the required COVID test. So I think that was February. So I got to Nika about 10 times last year. It's inconvenient. It's a pain in the neck. I hate flying Avianca. It's harder on me not living in Miami because I got to take a different plane to get to Miami to then get another plane. So it's like booking double reservations all the time. The COVID test in Nika has been a little bit of a pain in the ass. It pretty much sucks up a whole day, going down there and back. And look, sometimes you get in 15, 20 minutes. I've had other times I've had to wait 3 hours to get my COVID test, and it really does. I mean, if you got 3 hours there, because the COVID, it isn't at the airport, so you got like another 30. Basically, 3 hour waits got you a 9-10 hour day is what ends up happening. Now, I will say they made an improvement. I guess starting in late October, they set up a foreigners clinic where if you're not a Nicaraguan, you go to this special COVID clinic. And my experiences there both times were amazingly quick. And so that part was better. I still haven't deciphered these new rules about traveling back. I don't think they really changed my Nicaraguan situation. The only thing that's really weird is this supposed 24-hour requirement, because the 24-hour thing is not happening. I don't even know. I don't even know how the government can think that you can get a COVID test and get the results to the airline in time in order, and then get on the plane and be there within 24 hours. It just doesn't work that way. So maybe I don't understand the new rules, but I thought that was part of them. I guess I'm gonna have to figure it out in the next 3 weeks before I go on my next trip down. But I mean, it's been inconvenient, it's been expensive, but it's doable.
So if everybody's still freaking out, this hasn't sold out yet, right, Alex?
No, it has not.
So take your time, people. Figure it out. Shouldn't have no problems. I'm looking for that text alert just when it says it's gone.
I don't think it's going to go as quick this way as the way before. I mean,
I don't know.
Before you had the entire. Well, look, we know it doesn't. I mean, when you did the ones last year on the live broadcast with the thousands of people watching,
Yeah, but it's also 500 instead of 200.
Yeah, how many did you do?
Mine was what? Mine was like
300.
300.
Well,
Yeah.
guess what? We're past that point already.
No, yeah, you would have sold out. But
No, we're past the 300 point.
No, yeah, I'm sure. But it was the only way we could do it, Steve, where we could offer it simultaneously to the people who were live or virtual.
Right.
To do it like this. And it's a perk of getting your ticket early. If you don't get your ticket early, then you can't say anything. And if you get your ticket early enough, you have a perk where now you're not fighting 2,000 people for this. You're fighting half the people who have gotten their ticket early or whatnot. So it was really the only really way we could figure out how to offer it fairly to everybody at the same time, whether you're going to be there live or home.
Because, I mean, I don't know what your experience is, but mine was selling tickets for events. So many people buy them at the last minute.
Everybody.
It's impossible for you to do the logistical planning necessary for everything. So I think this was a really smart way to go, is to get the tickets. Many of them committed to an advance, because then at least gives you some idea as to what you need. It's not going to give you the exact numbers, but it gets you somewhere. Because I mean, a lot of times the last 10 days before an event happens, like 70% of the tickets would sell.
Yep.
And you have to make decisions long before 10 days before the event gets pulled off.
That's what happened to us earlier this year with the digital experience, because we could have sold more tickets. There were some packages still left, but what happened was the information had been up for 2, 3, 4 months. All the cigars, the whole thing, what they were going to get. And then, we were winding down to the last 2 weeks. We actually told people that, hey, we're shutting off sales in 2 weeks. And then the boxes started dropping everywhere. And everybody started doing these videos of what they were getting. And everybody started seeing it like physically. And we got so slammed 2 days into it, the 2 weeks, we had to shut it down, saying we have to close it now because we'll never get all these packages out in time. Right. Everybody came at the last minute. So, yeah, it's a phenomenon of event planning. So for us to have done it this way, guys who get the tickets early get a little perk, they get a reward. I think it's going to work out great.
Let me help somebody. Carl, in your account, in your Great Smoke section, you have 2 tickets there. Take the reference ID under the Great Smoke base ticket, and then go to the Great Smoke website, and it's going to ask you for that ID when you sign it. You're already signed in. So just go to the Great Smoke, go to the store. It's going to ask you for that ID. That'll get you in.
So much.
Continue.
So much for
Why don't you guys? What I understand is I saw the broadcast before. You make these swanky little cigar videos with music. Why don't you make a simple tutorial video that you run in the beginning that shows the steps?
Steve, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what we do. And believe me when I tell you, between the facts, this, that, you get inundated no matter how hard you try to think in advance for every little question or scenario. It's been my experience with stuff like this. And believe me when I tell you, we really try. We try to think it all through. I mean, what Alex said is written in about 5 different places. It's written on the TGS facts page. It's written in about 10 different places. I mean, it's literally, but people just, that's why we didn't start sales for like 15 minutes into the broadcast, figuring we'll give people the time to figure out. But sure enough, I mean, here we are, we're 50 minutes into the broadcast and people are still trying to figure out how to get into the store. Craig, what do I change 20 times between shows, Craig? Yeah, I'd like to know.
That's why you should read the comments. Leave it alone.
Leave the comments to me.
Yeah, I'd like to know what I change 20 times between shows.
Right. I just want to say Abe is sick right now, so he's feeling a little under the weather. So if he's a little extra cranky, don't hold it against him. Wait until he doesn't have COVID.
I have to cancel.
Then decide he's an asshole. But that's this one.
Where's Craig? Who's Craig?
What do you got? What do you got planned for New Year's? Anything, Steve?
We're supposed to be going to a friend's shop of ours up in North Conway.
You go to a cigar shop on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, they're friends. Not going there to work. I'll be incognito. I mean, that's the plan, but who knows? I mean, Cindy's feeling a little under the weather, and you know how things are right now. People keep getting sick left and right. I mean,
yeah, a lot. A lot. It's all, thank God, not serious. Nobody I know is getting seriously ill, but everybody seems to be getting sick.
Yeah, and that's what I'm noticing around me too. I luckily haven't succumbed to it yet, but I mean, maybe I shouldn't ask this question. I assume you were vaccinated.
I was not.
Oh, you were not. Okay.
But Brandy was, and she got it first.
Yeah, because most of the people that I know that are getting it are breakthrough infections. Yeah.
Meaning what?
Meaning that they have been completely fully vaccinated, yet they're still getting this.
That's what I was experiencing too. Most people, like, who got vaccinated were getting it. I really thought I'd get through unscathed. I didn't really think I'd get it.
Really?
At this point, I've been to trade shows, traveling around, shop all the time. Yeah.
I don't know whether I think I had it very, very early on, but I'm not positive. I just had a really, really bad upper chest respiratory flu, but I worked through it in like a week or so. And that was in the very early stages before we really knew what was going on. And, but I've managed to avoid it since. Now, if I got it, then obviously I would have had some antibodies, but I did an antibody test about a year after that, and they told me it wouldn't detect it, which didn't make sense. There's so much of this I don't understand.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
So I don't even talk about it because anything I say will be wrong. Just remember, I roll weeds into a tube that you light on fire. Nobody should be taking any sort of medical advice from me.
Well, Steve will be doing another special broadcast during the Great Smoke main event day with Michael Herklotz. So that should be interesting. Always a pleasure to see those two guys sit together and talk. I'm looking forward to that. And trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover.
Is there a live audience for that?
Yeah, it's a very limited space. We had to actually build an external, set because they moved our venue, so we're not even doing the Great Smoke where it's been for the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, really?
No, it was actually clause number 79. They have the right to move us at any given point, and we got moved. We got moved into the main exhibit hall, So it's actually a one building venue. I think it's going to make for a nicer experience. It's just really messed with us because we had to redo all the logistics and
Right, because you already knew how everything got laid out in the old setup.
had to figure it all out from scratch. So
explain to me this. So there's a live audience that goes to the tape or the broadcasting.
So what we did was they're building a studio right on premise. So you kind of go outside, and I think it can hold about 20 people, 25 people. So for those people who are really hardcore, who wanted to like see your broadcast or your interview, it's only a 20-minute session.
They could watch it on their phone. I mean,
they could watch it on their phone outside, or if they wanted to come in the room, they could.
But aren't you charging tickets for them to come in the room?
Yes. Only reason was
who the hell wants that? I wouldn't pay to see me. Why would someone else?
They did.
They did?
Yeah. Yes. And the only reason why we did that is how do I choose what 20 get to go in there and watch it.
Okay, so and what do they get for their $20? They just get to watch me?
They get to come in and watch the video session.
Oh, that is a sucky deal.
Well, thanks, Steve.
All right. Well, I'm going to fix this right now. Anybody that's coming to mind that bought a ticket, they're going to get cigars with that visit. I'm going to have something there for them. I don't know what it'll be, but there'll be something. There'll be something that they won't feel like they'll get their $20 worth, separate of being put through the pain of watching me. So
there you go. Steve always making it right for his fans. That's funny. Edward Tuxdor said, "Well, they paid to see you Friday night. The food is just extra."
I don't think so. Anybody that's been to one of Evan's food events, the food is typically top notch. The logistics have been sometimes questionable. A couple I've experienced, but I would imagine the kinks are worked out on this because you've done this now. This will be the third year on the dinner itself. The
dinner is not an issue at all. There's no kinks to the dinner. Piece of cake.
Right.
It's actually a really good time.
I haven't seen one over there. Yeah.
There's Joe Diaz. There's no link to buy, man. You log into your account at Smoke Inn, go to the Great Smoke ticket. If you don't have a Great Smoke ticket, you can't buy the product. If you do, it exists under your Great Smoke tab in your accounts in the Smoke Inn account. Now I'm getting a little delirious. Because it's funny is I see them message me and then I won't reply and then I see them ask here.
Yeah. Wow. I don't think you have a ticket, Joe.
So well, did you?
Joe, if you don't have a Great Smoke ticket, there is no link for you to buy.
But there's still time to buy a ticket.
You could buy a ticket and then you'll be able to get in the store. This was a cigar that Steve made exclusively for Great Smoke ticket attendees.
Now I saw something today about maybe all the virtual tickets being sold. Is that
virtual tickets have been sold out for a while?
So there's no more virtual tickets.
There are none at this point. No.
Will there potentially be more?
Possibly. We're gonna look after the first of the year, assess where look, Steve, at the end of the day, this is a real person event. It's not a virtual event. Right. So we allocated 20% of all the tickets to virtual. That was how we started. So after the first of the year, we're going to look and see how the real life sales, and if we could slice maybe 30, 40, 50 tickets off that, we might do it. It'll happen like the first week of January. So we told people, if you're interested in a virtual ticket, go to buy the virtual ticket, and there's a notify me button. Hit the notify me button, and if we upload more virtual tickets, they'll get an email letting them know.
Look at how I just keep teeing all this stuff up for you. I'm drinking the right bourbon. I'm asking all the right questions.
Alex, anything else we need to go over?
Get me off here. I'm annoying the fuck out of him now. He's
You're not annoying the fuck out of me.
Get him off here.
My threshold's starting to.
No, I think we're good. I think we're good here.
All right. So our next virtual event is with Espinosa Cigars. That'll be on January 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if we do load up more virtual tickets after the store, all the products that haven't sold out that'll still be in the store will be available to anybody. I think that pretty much covers everything. I personally am glad I'm not going to be in the office tomorrow. Enjoy your day tomorrow, Alex. I'm sure it's going to be pretty interesting with all these.
I'll be here a while now.
Well,
I'll be here a
I
while.
think I'm going to visit the whereby.
The whereby will probably be jumping.
I'm going to.
This is a warm up for me. 58 minutes. Good God, I'm just getting started.
Yeah,
that's what we figured.
Yeah, we like to call them release parties. About an hour long just to release it, and so we can hear everybody cry and complain for about an hour. Just get my fill in of aggravation for the day. But Steve, once again, thank you for participating with making a very exclusive product for the Great Smoke again this year. We deeply appreciate it, and as you know, all your fans appreciate it. They love this kind of stuff, and we'll see you. I guess we're going to see you in January.
You're supposed to. Yep.
Yeah. We'll see you in January, and then we'll see you before the Great Smoke. Other than that, peace out, everybody.
Wait, what's January?
Well, he's coming for to see the movie premiere. Our dear friend Marvin Samuel has been working on this movie now for years, and you know, it's funny because when you say a friend is making a movie who doesn't come from that industry, you think it's like this B-rated thing, but this is a star-studded cast with Judd
Carol Kane and Judd Hirsch and
Sean Astin, and it's a fully studded cast. So his premiere is, I think, January 13th.
I'd have to look at my calendar, but that sounds about right.
Yes. So I actually have a very small role in that movie. I'm just sitting next to Sean Astin. I think I may say one line, but it'll be.
You got invited. I didn't get invited. There was one fat bald guy's enough, right? Like you'd have to make us into brothers in a movie or some bullshit.
I filled the fat bald guy quota for the movie. So other than that, what else we got going on? Anything else up before the end of the year, Alex?
Before the end of the year. I mean, that's in like 2 days.
That's it.
Maybe.
But this isn't enough.
No.
Come on. What more could you want?
Well, I don't know, Steve. Do you have anything else dropping before the year is out? You know.
I'll just be happy when we get these Paladins out the door and the next Stillwell start going too, because the Stillwell thing is already stupid. I'm sure. It's just begun and it's already stupid.
Yep. We already placed our second order for some more. So keep up the good work, Steve. Everybody out there. Signing off, I guess. Peace.
Happy New Year's to everybody.
Happy New Year to everybody.
See ya, people.
Be safe.